I'm going to spill it out that I have proof that you guys did not help me, and I'm asking on multiple occasions. I'm letting you guys know in advance. I'm literally telling you guys I need help. But hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Imani, and we are back with another military video. I figured I'd start these series over again because I believe 2 or 3 of my highest viewed videos were me talking about the military and my experience. So I figured I'd give you a rundown about how I really feel about my time in the military. So as you guys know, I was in the Air Force. I had left school from the University of Alabama to go into the Air Force. I went to basic training, everything. Got my airman's coin. It's actually upstairs in my closet. And I had my sights set on so much with what I wanted to do with my Air Force career, as well as my career outside of the Air Force, because I was in school to become a pediatrician as far as taking getting my bachelor's degree first. But that all changed when I actually figured out what I really wanted to do in life, and I'm more happier than ever. And that's a whole nother ballgame though. So originally I went into the Air Force so that I can have school paid for, because as you know, if you attended or attend the University of Alabama, it is expensive. That school is an amazing school. I love the students there. I love the vibe there. Everything about the school is amazing. Woo, but you gotta have money to go to that school. So I left in the hopes of being able to come back and pay off the remaining year that I had left, because I was in my senior year. Little did I know that if I would have went in my freshman or sophomore year of college in the ROTC program there, I could have just had a full ride, as well as after I finished, I could have got shipped off to officer training school, which I wanted to do anyway, and become, a captain in the Air Force, things of that nature as a doctor. Whew, but that didn't happen. So after I got back, I was a reservist, so that was my status first of all. So one thing that I did say that changed with that, I'm gonna give you guys the pros and cons really. So the pros of being a reservist in the military was, I only had to go to duty 1 weekend out of every month, and then you had to do your annual tour, which was like 2 weekends, well, 2 weeks out of the year. And you could have did it was this other one. It was like an annual training thing where you basically become active duty status again and learn your job. That way you're there more often. I was fuel systems, and I worked on KC-130s, which if you don't know, those are just cargo planes. So with that being said, I thought that I was doing the right thing. Little did I know being a reservist was not the way to go. For one, the pay cut is tremendous. You go from making a full-time active duty check of, at the time, because I went in as an E3 because I had college credits. I was making about $900 every 1st and the 15th, so that's about $1,800 every month. But then when you become a reservist and go reserve status, that tremendously drops down to about $200 to $300 something. And then mind you, I was paying my own rent, and then I had a car, so that wasn't cutting it. So of course I had to get a job on campus. So I do recommend that, if you do go the reservist route, you also get another job outside of that, so that way you can maintain your lifestyle. The pro of, like I said, being a reservist though, was that I was also able to go back to school. I was able to pretty much move wherever I wanted to move, really without having to constantly go back and let people know. Granted, I always let my commander and stuff know that, hey, I'm moving or I'm doing this, just so, safety reasons. But I was stationed in Biloxi, Mississippi, because that was the closest. Well, actually, technically, Maxwell was the closest duty station to me at the time, but they were full and they were giving me the runaround, so I got stationed at Biloxi, Mississippi. Long story short, I got pregnant, got engaged. My husband is active duty. He works on fighters. He got stationed at Langley, so once I got pregnant, got married, I moved back home here in Virginia, and I let my duty station know that I was moving back home. So we're getting into the con now. So the real reason I got out the Air Force was because they were not helping me whatsoever. For one, I had a student bill. I'm not even gonna get into the price with that because I'm still trying to work that out, and it's just know it's a huge bill. They weren't helping with the school. I actually talked to a recruiter on campus in the ROTC room, and they were like, yeah, if you would have came here, you would have never had a bill. You would have got paid for, like, your rent and stuff like that. They basically take care of you. I wish I would have went that route, but I didn't. And I should have listened to my cousin at the time, cousin or uncle at the time, that told me to go that route, but we didn't know. And then also I was one of my mom's first kids to go off to college, you know, trial and error with things. So moved back home, and you know, they still wanted me to report to work. So I did once, and that was, you know, let them know I was pregnant. I just did my rounds there. But mind you, that was a 14-hour drive from where I live. So I traveled 14 hours to get to work. And I let them know, like, hey, you know, this isn't going to work out, especially with the conditions that I had during my pregnancy. But they were just giving me the runaround. Then we had a government travel card, which is supposed to cover everything, or at least help you if you ever need to get to your duty station. So I tried to get to my duty station whenever they brought it up, and I would let them know, hey, I need assistance. Is there a way I can get a flight? But they wanted me to come out of pocket for it because nobody was going to pay for it. But they had shut off the government travel card specifically for my job, which was fuels. So if you use that card without permission, you can either get kicked out or you're gonna have to pay it back, or both. But you were gonna get reprimanded for it. So when I came back home and realized, you know, this wasn't accommodating, first of all, my doctor, my OB at the time, was like, you know, because of the condition of your pregnancy right now, traveling 14 hours is not it. So I let them know that, and that was fine. So when it was time for me, when I gave birth, and when it was time for me to actually start coming back to work, you know, PT tests, things of that nature, I still let them know, like, hey, 14 hours is really tough. Is there a way that, because I read my AFIs, I knew, like, first of all, as a reservist, they're supposed to accommodate you. You're not supposed to travel within like a certain mileage to get to your duty station. Now, unless you can just pay for it, that's that. But they're supposed to accommodate that, me, especially with me being pregnant. So though, actually, that's going back into it. So after it was time for me to come back to work, I ended up getting pregnant again with my second child. So this was maybe like 3 months afterwards, and I told them that. And I didn't mind going to work though, because this pregnancy was a lot easier on me. However, they were like, no, we can't help you. There's no way for you to get down. And mind you, I have messages letting them know, like, hey, I need assistance. I'm trying to get to work, but there's no way for me to get to work. And they literally just kept marking me. And I understand that, because they said, you know, after a certain amount of marks, you know, you'll get in trouble. But here's the catch with the Air Force as a reservist specifically. Because you are in the military, you can't get civilian help. So you can't go get a loan. You can't basically go outside of that, because most loan places, you know, feel like military, I guess they built up a lot of loans, they never paid them back and got in trouble for it. Something like that went on. But as a civilian, technically, I couldn't get help because I was in the military. And then because I was a reservist, but I was in a civilian status, I still couldn't get help. And even if I was activated in that moment, because it wasn't more than 90 days, I still could not get the assistance that I needed. So it was kind of like, damn if I do, damn if I don't. That was rough in itself. So it was like, either way, I'm shit out of luck. I don't have a way to get any help, and I'm asking my supervisor, I'm asking my commander, I'm asking everybody, and they're saying, well, if you don't show up, you know, you're gonna lose your bonus, you're gonna have to pay it back, blah blah blah. Which I'm gonna let you guys know, I didn't have to pay it back. But and this is for a good reason, because I had proof the whole time that I was asking my supervision for help, that I needed to be accommodated, because I know that there was like actually 3. However, Langley only takes guard, not reservist for my specific job. But I wanted to cross train too, but that's another story. So I was like, you can either put me at Andrews, or you could put me at I think it was Pope, and it was some other one. But they were like, oh no, if we try to transfer you to these duty stations here because you haven't fulfilled a certain amount of years at our duty station, you got to pay back your bonus, or, you know, because you're first term airman or whatever, you're not going to be able to blah 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 blah. Basically a whole run around with everything. So basically I ended up getting a general discharge, which is anything other than honorable. So honestly, I can go back into the military if I wanted to, or whatever the case may be. Like, it wasn't a dishonorable discharge. So like I said, I can always go back in if I want to. And I always thought about it. But that's why I always told myself, I really wish I would have went active duty, because I feel like, though it would have took me a little bit longer to finish off my degree, school would have been paid for. I wouldn't have had to worry about transportation. I would have been well taken care of. I wouldn't have had to worry about anything. And I really regret not going active duty. So if you're watching this, please go active. Now, unless you know for a fact you have a great job outside of the military that's going to help pay or add on to what you're going to make those 1 weekend out of the month and you're in your annual tour or whatever, unless you have a job, please go active. Go active. However, another reason why I got out too also is because it just wasn't conducive to the lifestyle that I was trying to do. And I didn't really see the purpose in me being in the military anymore. Yes, I have my 2 going on 3 kids now. But my husband, he is active duty and I am a full-time makeup artist now. With that being said, like I said, if you are in school or if you want to find the means to really secure yourself as an adult, I do recommend that you go active duty because they will pay for school. You will have housing if you are married or have kids, or you'll get BAH at a certain point. Depending on your field you go in, you may get a bonus that comes around every year on the time that you actually raise your right hand, you know, committed into the Air Force, or whatever branch you are into. You can always retrain. And I think that's the biggest thing that most people don't understand is that they think the reservist route is the best route. It is if you know for a fact you have a great paying job and you're not going to have any issues with getting to work. However, if you don't feel like you can sustain life without the jobs or whatever, then I do recommend, you know, you go active duty because I do feel like that is the best bet overall. But the biggest thing, and like I said, the reason why I got a general discharge too was because originally I was going to get a dishonorable discharge, but I combated that because I was like, there's no way possible that I should get a dishonorable discharge for the simple fact that I have proof that I was trying to acquire help from my unit to get to my duty station. So if you guys try to take me to court or try to take me, you know, or reprimand me for anything, I'm going to spill it out that I have proof that you guys did not help me. And I'm asking on multiple occasions. I'm letting you guys know in advance. I'm literally telling you guys I need help, but nobody is helping me. Then they tried to lie on me with certain things, but it's okay because, like I said, I have my proof and I'm not going to go back and forth about it. But I do recommend that if you go into any branch for that matter, honestly, go active duty. Now, the only thing about active duty is that your job in the military is priority. So school, you can't take full credit hours. Well, they'll try to tell you you can't. You can, but it's going to be a lot on your plate. And if you feel like you can handle that, then that's that. However, they probably recommend 1 or 2 classes, so part-time. That way you can focus on work, and then when it's time for you to focus on school, you do that. But your main job is the military. And then also, the biggest reason why I just decided, like, you know, it was just time for me to be done was it just, like I said, it didn't really show any purpose anymore. I really felt like what I wanted to do, I couldn't do anymore because of the military, and then also because of how expensive my school was. So, you know, I just decided altogether, you know what, I'm going to restart my life and I'm just going to go do what it is that I actually want to do because this just isn't working. So, yeah. But pretty much that was the main reason why I decided to get out the Air Force. It wasn't really anything too intense. It was just like I felt like as a reservist, it wasn't conducive to anything. It wasn't actually helping. And if I was going to be in the military, I was going to be in the military because I was actually getting paid good money, which I'll let y'all know right now. People in the military are not rich. So if you think that that's the case, no. However, if you are in the military and you do live in the barracks or the dorms or you live with your family, rack your money up, make sure your credit's straight. You can go buy a car if you want to or whatever, but just make sure that everything else is A1 before you actually decide to go get a house or anything for that matter, because you can rack up a lot of money. I promise you, you can, especially if you're single. But if you have a family on the way or if you're married, you know, make sure you're doing a job that you love. Make sure, you know, you have your credit in order, because there's things like Veterans United that will help you get your credit together so that way you can go buy a house. Or also, if you just want to go buy a new car, you know, just get your credit together. I probably sound like a mom right now, but I mean, this is just the things that I'm letting you guys know that most people don't know. Don't let these recruiters just tell you anything. Do your research. A lot of things you can find on YouTube. Me, I'm open about everything. I have no reason to lie to you guys about anything. I will say that they will try to place you in most cases where the higher demand is with certain fields in the Air Force. But I mean, hey, depending on what you're scoring your ASVAB or whatever, choose your job, and you can possibly negotiate bonuses and stuff like that. You can always retrain, I think, within a certain amount of years of your contract, but mainly that's it. So I will say at the end all be all. You know, if you're going to go into the military, go active duty. It's a guaranteed win. Most people are like, oh, I don't like active, but then you realize how stable your life really is. When you do it, it's a lot better than you think. It's a lot more secure than you think. So with that being said, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Let me know what you did or didn't like about this video. If I didn't cover something, just like I said, let me know, and I'll make sure in the next video to cover that for you guys, because I have a lot of information that I would like to share with you guys. Even though I was only in for a short period of time, I can tell you right now, as a reservist, it just wasn't it. So, I mean, hey, by all means, feel free to come and talk to me so we can get the real about the Air Force. And until next time, I will see you guys later.